Hello, Internet. My name is Aqua, and welcome to the RWBY Volume 5, Chapter 8. Just halfway through.
More than half.
Discussion. More than half. Episode 8. This is Rebkos.
Ew.
Over there. Probably. There we go. Now I'm in frame. So, another episode happened, as always.
Oh, is that why we're here?
Yeah, probably. I'm not really sure anymore, honestly. But, stuff happened, which is good.
Yeah.
It kind of hasn't lately. Well, more of we got left with another cliffhanger for the second or third week in a row. I don't even know anymore.
We did, but we're finally spinning back up. Like, there was still exposition here, but even the exposition.
It was good exposition.
It was good exposition. It was discussing people's current emotional state versus allow us to monologue about there's these maidens, by the way.
For the fourth time in a row.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
yeah,
did you hear about the maidens?
I mean, we still have to go through that with Blake, but so far we're almost through all that. Finally,
you know what? I would be happy if the volume ended with the team reunited and them just kind of looking at her and going, "We have a bunch to catch you up on," and then just ending it. Thing. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just. That's it.
I think that's going to happen much earlier than the end of the volume, but yeah, I get to see that.
Maybe.
Possibly. So, yeah, we have a lot of emotions talk about this episode, which are very interesting. Starting off with Yang actually using her hair like as a thing that exists in the world, which I thought was interesting. Just the fact that they were like, hey, I thought it was weird that she went boop.
It was really kind of the world's most unnecessary boop. Like, I wasn't terribly a fan of that.
Yeah, it was a little strange to me, but that's fine. Then Weiss comes up and brings some coffee.
I love the Ruby Weiss interaction here with the bit about she knows exactly how Ruby takes her coffee. I mean, this was practically a plot point in Volume 1.
Yeah.
And
it was okay.
Yeah, cream and 5 sugars.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. For some reason, I thought that was 2, but there's no way.
Nope, that's Volume 1.
Mm.
It just I will pour this on you and it will burn. Like,
I enjoyed that. It's like just that consistency of it. They've been doing a lot of callbacks the last couple episodes, which I appreciate. Not all of them are accurate, as you pointed out, but I appreciate the effort nonetheless.
Yeah,
and like the fact that this was still brought up a thing. And
Weiss's refusal to admit that she's Ruby's friend. I mean, that's even like a shout out to Volume 3 when it's like, who's going to watch your back? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My BFF. No. Yes.
Which it still weirds me out because that audio is really chopped up from the original.
Yeah, that always bugs me too. Just because they really gave us the preview and then changed it in the actual volume. But anyway. And so we get most of our team reunion hanging out on the balcony, bonding, and then we bring up our lost kitty cat.
Mm-hmm. And Yang is actually freaking out a lot more than I expected her to. Like, of course, there's the whole like, Bumblebee and all that stuff, which I subscribe to myself, not because I think it's like, whatever. I legitimately think that's a thing. Like, ever since the beginning, I've legitimately thought that was a thing that was going to be occurring at some point. Just them getting together, and they were like, she was really just like about it.
Oh yeah, and we also see her actively lose control here. I mean, we go red eyes, which leads to handshaking, and Ruby and Weiss being taken aback by what seems to be a kind of severe overreaction. And I agree with you entirely. Like, usually when it comes to shipping, like I know I talk about it a lot, but I very rarely think any of it's actually going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of one of those moments where you have to take a step back and go, oh no, this is a thing, because there's no reason for her to react this way unless there's something more there than just friendship. Like, she can talk about her abandonment issues as much as she wants, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, she's known Blake for what? 8 months of her life?
Like 1 semester, yeah.
I think technically 2 semesters, but
it was 2, yeah.
And we're already skipping ahead to the next section here, but like even Weiss kind of calls it out of Blake wasn't willing to talk to us. She wasn't willing to open up to us. So like Yang doesn't really know that much about Blake. So there's only so close they can be friends wise.
Yeah.
And so for her to react this way is like, oh, this isn't just shipping for fun. This is here. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like there were some moments before where like Yang kind of showed that in some ways.
Yeah, like the save that I'll save my first dance for you in volume 2.
That's the main one for sure.
But even that, like, you could just excuse that as like Yang has a flirty personality and that's just what she's doing. Mm. Like,
but this is something legitimate, like pretty much since that point. Maybe a little bit, probably before that, but like I legitimately thought this was a pairing that was going to end up together. I don't know why necessarily, but like I've always legitimately thought that this is going to be a thing. So it's cool to actually see that.
I mean,
like,
shipping's
hey, this might
fun.
Actually,
like just for
I've
me,
never really partaken.
There you go.
So for me, it was more of a thing like in my brain ship characters that are actually have a chance of like being together rather than like, oh, I want these two to be together.
See, I practically ship any 2 people on screen with each other just because I think it's fun.
Oh yeah, it's really funny. I love reading
Ruby and Oscar. I'm like,
no, that's a whole different thing for certain. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what their reunion is going to be like when that happens, because her feelings about Blake are pretty up in the air right now. And also, if this does be a thing where Yang did end up having feelings for Blake this entire time, then the whole thing about Blake not trusting her in volume 3 at first, like, takes on a whole new meaning as well.
Yeah, like it pretty much adds a lot of weight to every interaction that they've always had. God, now you see, you pass it on to me. Now I can't talk.
It's just inevitable. If you say too many words, it just stops.
Yeah. But yeah, just going back and legitimately adding that layer of Yang's into this, whether or not Blake necessarily is, that's still up in the air. But
Blake never really seemed to have like any sort of those hints like Yang did a little bit. So I don't really know at all. Yeah.
I mean, she's very, kind of as Weiss points out, not open with the team. So
at least at first, like she like they said, like those walls came down eventually, but then Yang leaves off and off going, whatever. And then we cut over to Blakey sitting on a balcony reading a note.
I just enjoy the parallels between these 2 scenes because you effectively had Team RWBY literally hanging out in the sun, watching the sunrise on this giant balcony thing, rebonding as a group, and then we cut over to Blake in the darkness, standing alone on her balcony.
Picking up a note, which is obviously a trap. Like, Jesus Christ, Blake. The last time Ilya showed up, she's like, we're gonna fight eventually, you know that, right? And then she's about to, like, she's trying to mass his army, and like the whole everything else with Ilya happened with the public. Yeah. And then it's like, this is totally not anything. And then, so this was a super short little scene before.
It is, but there's kind of a lot in here. Like,
the thing that I noticed the most is that she had no intention of telling Sun anything. Which comes up later.
And no. Like, yes and no.
She walked off past him telling nothing's wrong, I'm gonna go leave now.
Yes, and then crank up the volume on the scene and you can hear Ilya jump away.
Oh, really?
You absolutely can. She is still there.
These headphones suck really bad.
So I caught it momentarily, like on one of the rewatches, and then was like, hold up, wait. Backtrack and go right to the end, and you can hear like the very distinct sound of someone jumping off through the woods. So especially knowing what we know later in the episode of her having actually told Sun what was going on, she knew they were still being listened to. So that that I excuse in the moment. The first time I watched it, it was like, God damn it, Blake.
That's exactly what my first thing was as well.
Yeah. Now
okay,
I did.
So that makes it a lot.
Sorry,
better.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that makes it a lot better. That's all I had.
So one of the interesting things I thought, well, I had two interesting notes about the notes on the note. This is clearly a form of communication they've done before. Like, there's no reason Blake would be able to notice a note on the outside of her balcony, but she almost reflexively checks for it. So this is, we don't necessarily know how long these two have been friends, but it's reasonable to presume that they've known each other quite a while, and this is clearly a way they've communicated before. So Blake knows to check for it, does it almost reflexively, and then finds the note. So I thought that was kind of a little fun. It's not like it was, a rock wasn't thrown through her window with a note tied to it or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I also thought it was interesting that actually reading the note was left as an exercise to the viewer. Like, that's a little uncommon in the show. Usually they do the voice narration of, they would have had Illy actually read out the note.
Right,
So I thought it was kind of interesting just to have that silent moment of everyone's reading the note together, including Blake. So I just thought that was funny.
That was interesting. But that's pretty much all that happened. That scene was like a 30-second scene or something. So we go back over to yay!
And we do this cool Harry Potter fly through the window moment.
I didn't notice really. I was kind of like trying to do two things at once while I was taking notes this time. I did, and I watched it like 3 days ago.
That's fair.
It's the middle of the week. So Yang's by herself. Someone comes in the room. Yang's like, "Oh, Ruby, get the fuck out of here!" And then it's Weiss.
Yep. And I love Weiss's approach here of she comes in and she sits down and she just sits there quietly staring at Yang. Like, she's not asking questions. She's not going, "Hey, we need to talk." She's just like, "Nope, I'm just gonna be here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very nice. I feel like she kind of knows that's what she would need because, she's been through trauma a lot. So she understands, like, sometimes you just need someone to listen. So then we start going into backstory, more of Yang, and it's not necessarily backstory of, like, finding out new things. It's more of just finding out how she felt about stuff at the time.
Yeah.
Though she was very frustrated that she had to pretty much raise Ruby and keep the household together on her own, which obviously, as like.
Though I did find some of the language in this peculiar.
Yes, definitely.
Like, for one, she calls Tai Yang Tai instead of Dad, which was a little odd. But she also explicitly says that Summer left.
That's something I noticed immediately the first time as well.
Left.
I feel like at this point they've been together long enough that Weiss knows that Summer died. So I don't know why she would not tell her that, unless it's just a thing of like she doesn't want to think about that.
So I've started entertaining a crack theory, and that's that Summer Rose is indeed not actually dead. Because I don't know that it's ever explicitly been stated that she is. Like, it's just been presumed.
Not in the show. There's definitely a lot of, hey, here's a gravestone on a cliffside.
Here's a memorial on a cliffside.
But
which has
which has
no date on it, and frankly, it's really a terrible idea to try to bury a body right at the edge of a cliff.
It's fine. But yeah,
like really?
That,
and the cliff does this. It's not even like a vertical drop.
No,
it's curved
very much,
over.
Yeah.
Oh, let's dig 6
it's like
feet
a
down.
Coyote. You're like
that went through.
Off the end.
Yeah, like this is just no. That's not where you put a body. And so I went through a couple old clips of like the volume 2 discussion between Yang and Blake, and I don't know that it's ever explicitly stated that Summer died, which means I'm kind of wondering if everyone's presuming she died and the body was never recovered. Is she actually dead?
It's very strange because it is never said in the show, and this is like the one thing that really bothers me about everything that's been going on so far is that we have this character Summer, who is just in a complete mystery still. And I feel like she's going to be a huge part to the plot because she was a silver-eyed warrior, at least we assume.
Yeah.
And I assume, I haven't seen many people speculate about this or not, just because I haven't looked for it, but I assume that she knew like how to use her powers at least a bit. And this is the person that Hazel was talking about when they said we've dealt with Archon before, which a lot of people always like to mention. And yet, nobody ever talks about her.
Yeah.
And when they do, it's super vague. Even when it's points when it's like, obviously you could point to this for something, and this should be talked about. I just got a cut on my finger. That's different. She's just never talked about. So yeah, it's really frustrating. And there was years ago, I think after Volume 1 came out, it was either Monty or one of the writers, Miles Carey or Gray, said that Summer is dead, like 100%. But that's the only time that's been said.
Yeah, and I don't believe them. Like if you if you watch the Volume 1 commentary, they have the scene where Cardin's bullying John, and they have the bit where he gets shoved in the rocket locker and launched, and they say on the commentary that they were just thinking of funny things that would happen at superhero high school of how one might bully another, and the rocket locker thing was just a gag thrown in. And then you jump ahead to the Volume 3 commentary, and we have Kira shoving John in the locker, and they go, oh yeah, no, this was planned for years. That's the entire reason we put the rocket lockers in. And it's like, hold up! It's one or the other, boys!
Yeah, but I feel like a character being dead or not. I mean, I guess they could be like, well, she was technically dead, or maybe she's going to come back from the life.
I mean, this could be some Star Wars shit of like, well, she was dead from a certain point of view.
Out of the Force.
Yeah, it's like, no, she turned evil. The Summer Rose they know is dead. Like, I don't, like, yeah.
There's a lot to do with that, but yeah, that's Summer left. Okay, sure. I mean, technically she left. She just didn't come back.
Yes, but does that mean she's dead?
Maybe. We'll find out in another 3-4 years.
Maybe. Or it's gonna be like season 1 of Alias, where it just like the final scene in the show is, or the final scene of the volume is actually gonna be Ruby looking up and going, Mom? And then it's just gonna cut to black and it will be like, fuck! Yeah,
that I wouldn't be too surprised with that, especially since we had 2 cliffhangers in a row for huge fights.
No, I'm talking about the volume ending with that, so that the fandom can just lose its shit for the next 8 months.
Yeah. So I mean, then we get some Weiss backstory of just like, you know, how she was raised and everything, and it's pretty much exactly what we figured out from context clues so far. Like,
dad her mom's a raging
just
alcoholic.
For money. Yep, mom turned into an alcoholic because her dad's an asshole, and her dad's an asshole forever.
Which kind of makes me wonder how much animosity Winter has towards Crow just because he's an alcoholic. Like, I just kind of assume the two of them should be making out because, again, shipping is fun.
God. A lot of people
but
think
instead,
of that too.
Because it would be fun. But again, she's like, really does not like him of like, he was drunk. It's like, he's always drunk.
It's his thing. And then Yang starts talking about Blake again, and she starts like crying about this, and that was like another level of just like, oh shit, like she was like, really cared about her.
I didn't quite like the transition to that. It seemed a little too,
it's a little bumpy.
Yeah, it was like super angry Yang sobbing, and it's like, okay,
yeah. There's
you guys,
like
you guys didn't give Barbara enough like guidance on how this emotional arc was going. You just went say these things and then sob.
I also noticed there was one point when Yang was talking, like her eyes were unmoving, like the actual like she wasn't like squinting or having any emotion on her face, and she was just like giving this really like she was like giving her speech about her backstory and like how she felt and stuff, but she was no expression at all. And that was really unnerving. I don't know what happened there, but that kind of was unfortunate that got through. And then that thing was just like, here's this emotion, and now cut. We're to this emotion now. And I was just like, okay.
that was choppy.
The actual content of what was being said and everything, even if I didn't like the presentation super well for like a few moments, it was mostly really good.
Yeah.
But the content was great. Like, it was really interesting. It was good, just like character development stuff, which
and I like how much Weiss recognized of things like the moment Blake actually dropped her guard, everything she was afraid of happening played out exactly.
Yep.
And then we get this great line in there of, I know we're not as close, but I'm here for you too, from Weiss. And it's like, Weiss ships Bumblebee, doesn't she? Weiss totally ships Bumblebee. She absolutely does.
That'd be so great if they got back, they like meet together and they like get over their stuff and they like get together and everyone's just like, oh, finally. I was like, what?
Yep.
That would be really funny.
We're gonna get a call back to Volume 2 where like Weiss and Ruby kind of like lean into each other and they're like, mission accomplished.
But I thought it was interesting because Weiss was saying she was closer to Blake than Yang. If I'm getting that correctly.
No. She's saying I know. Talking about. She was referring to Weiss and herself. Or God. This is your fault.
I hope Weiss is closer to herself than Yang.
Probably.
Oh man.
No, Weiss was talking about the combination of Weiss and Yang, that they are not as close as Yang and Blake are.
Okay, yeah, I was really confused because there was like that pronoun thrown in there, and I was like, I don't know who that pronoun belongs to.
No.
So I was like, is Weiss closer to Brr?
And again, that's kind of the Weiss being like, you two are like really close, or at least you want to be really close, and I'm not into you, but
well, I mean,
just saying.
Just throwing out, it's like I'm just yeah.
Just saying, here to listen, rooting for you two to go make out. All is well.
And
there was, so I ended up kind of like deep diving into comments on the internet, even though that's always dangerous. But there was this hilarious comment from someone on the Rooster Teeth website. I'm gonna butcher their screen name. It's like CSL Muramasa. Don't know.
Send it to me. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah, CSL Muramasa.
Fine, we'll go with that. But they said, so Weiss is the one keeping everyone together with love and kindness. We really are fucked.
Well, that's her new role. That's her character development. She got nice.
That doesn't make any sense, but it's like, uh-oh. It's like, I look around and when I realize I'm the mature one in the situation, it's like, well, we're fucked. Okay. Great.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
I
thought that was a great observation. It was like,
it's not wrong. That's certainly. And then we go back to Blake and meeting up with Ilya, who is pure black. And there was a comment that I actually read somewhere. I think it was on the freaking Ruby Wiki or something, but it was like chameleons do turn black, or like black is like it like has a certain meaning to it in some context that was like sadness or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. I shouldn't have brought that up. I can't remember it. I meant to write it down, totally didn't. Anyway,
I thought it was great as super camouflage of like, I am hiding in the shadows. Allow me to turn black.
Yeah, I mean that's helpful for sure. But
it's like, I want that superpower. That's kind of neat.
So Ilya acts like she's just like turning over a new leaf at first. He's like, I'm sorry. And then Blake's like, you can come back. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, you're gonna die. And then she gets whacked.
Fist pump.
Well, it's like the fist close kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
And she did make a little bit of a mission.
I mean, it was the like
Choo-choo.
No, that's not what I mean.
It's
the like ready, go team, like the that's the signal everyone shut the fuck up. Anyway. So then like God damn it. So then like Batman comes down and knocks Blake over really hard.
As Batman does. He did a very Batman move too.
He Makes did sense. I kind of didn't like Blake's recovery from getting landed on. Like, I thought it was a great attack vector, and then we all kind of back off and let Blake grunt and slowly stand back up.
Yeah,
and
it was so weird. It's like, okay, here's this like warrior who's been through war and is trained and has been through this shit before, and she just like can't get up because she got stepped on the whole thing.
Yeah,
and it's like you're way stronger than this.
Batman falling from the sky, maybe her aura wasn't up, like solidly land on the shoulders, maybe we've like bruised a clavicle here, like there's
it sounded like she got the wind knocked out of her.
Yeah, and then
so
that's
a thing.
And then we all casually back away and let her stand back up.
Yeah. Well, she didn't have her weapon at that point, and everybody else did, so.
She didn't, but did we really have to wait for
Batman
her to be...
had it.
No.
Batman had the weapon. Ilya did not. Blake didn't have her weapon after that. Because he got knocked away.
Correct. Batman lands on her and her weapon goes flying and lands at Ilya's feet. But like we let her stand up enough so that Spider-Girl can then attack, who, point of interest, Spider-Girl knows that we tie hands behind the fucking back. Just want to point that out there, though.
Or just a full body, like, you know, thing.
Well, no, then there was... So, if you look at it closely, why doesn't Blake just take her jacket off? Because the spider webs are only, like, coming, like, sort of mid-chest-ish.
Yeah, it stops, like...
And so it's like, if she just kind of, like, shrugs out of her jacket, she can probably just be like, and we're done.
Yep. I thought it was weird that it only did wrap around like that much. I'm like, that's not a great web, bro.
Like, artistically, it was neat, but application for Blake specifically, like, probably on any of the other girls, it would have been fine. But Blake, meanwhile, just, like, has to take her jacket off, and then we're...
Well, there's a, like, after all the everything else happens later, Blake just kind of, like, escapes it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, do shadow clones... escape cobwebs?
I think they just forgot.
Maybe?
Like, it really just looked like they forgot to, like, explain how she got out of that. Because it's not like she got cut off and was, like, still whatever and had to get cut out of it. She was like, okay, I can kick this person now. And it's like, if she did, like, take her, like, shrug her jacket off her or something, and that would have been cool. But it was just nothing at all.
Or if she'd ended up, like, if she'd stayed tied up and then kicked Spider-Girl in the face instead of punching her, and then, like, Sun had to help her out, like headbutt
or something, There's a lot they could have done with that, and they just like, nah, she's not that.
And no webs.
That really bothered me. But that's...
Yeah.
Like, it's still not a huge deal.
It's not... it was frustrating, but...
Yeah.
I kind of almost want things to happen in the reverse order of, like, Spider-Girl, like, hits her with the web, and then Batman comes down and just slams her into the ground.
Yeah. That would have been good. That would have been fucked up.
Oh,
that would have been good. That would have been really good. So then we find out Ilya is just as crazy as Adam is. Well, in some ways. Well, no, pretty much every single way, because she then throws out. It's like, it's like, oh, Faunus needs blah, 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 blah. Same rhetoric that we've heard from Adam. But then it was
like,
also...
Ilya is a complete zealot. And she is on a personal vengeance quest because of, like,
Scorned her love.
No. So we can get into this entire discussion because the subreddit was losing its shit, which was entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, we have the first admittedly, God, we're terrible tonight.
I mean, yeah.
like Rooster Teeth has been promising for a while that there will be a named main character who is not just, like, completely straight.
Yeah.
And here's Ilya finally fulfilling that role, which, of course, now has half the fandom screaming that she's going to die in the next episode, and it's going to be the bury your gays trope, and just, it's like, all right, can we just, like, wait for the next episode and find out?
Yeah.
But a lot of people are jumping on this and being mad that Ilya is motivated by, like, lust for Blake, and I don't think that's the case here. Like, she... No. Is 100% on board that this is a fight against the humans because the Faunus must be the master race. And if anything, any affection she has towards Blake is making her hesitate. It is not motivating her. So this is not the, I'm your crazy ex, I'm going to go nuts on you. This is the...
No, that's Adam.
That's Adam. Yeah. Adam's 100%. The fucking, like he's got this whole take over the world thing, but the second Blake comes into the picture, he just goes psycho crazy after her. And meanwhile, Ilya is like, there are necessary sacrifices and you are one of them if that's the case. And it makes me sad because I want to bang you. But, and so it's like, okay, no, this is like, there's a lot of people who are mad. Oh, this is the classic trope of this or that. And it's like,
the whole show is
not.
Tropes. It's not, but the whole show is just tropey as fuck. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm curious because, like, after Monty passed, they said that there was one character that like Monty was always like, this character has to be of this like sexual orientation. And I'm curious if that was this one.
I mean, Ilya seems to be a very well thought out character.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I would not
I'm
be...
sure she's one of the characters that was like, you know, done from the beginning kind of thing.
Yeah.
She really seems like it because she's really well written and everything.
She's well written. She's interesting. She has a complicated backstory that directly ties in with Blake. We've got this whole her calling out the fact that Blake was apparently falling for Adam and that she saw this and didn't like it.
Yep.
Like there's a lot here, and I'll be personally annoyed if she gets killed off in the next episode just because she's an interesting character. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But so many people are screaming, "Oh, she's gonna get thrown in the freezer like Pyrrha was," and it's like Pyrrha didn't get fridged. Okay, that's not like that's.
I still can't believe people are saying that.
Yeah, it's like just because you're mad about a character death doesn't mean it was a badly executed character death. Like
and in Pyrrha's case, it made a lot of sense because there were a lot of people dying, and like it was really fucked up, and like that was a battle she couldn't win, but like it totally made sense for everything. And in this case, it's like, hey, a lot of people are dying. There's a lot of shit going on. It makes sense. She's not awesome at everything. She kind of sucks a little bit, but she's still pretty good, which means she's probably gonna die because that was Pyrrha.
Like fridging specifically is a poorly developed character who is only being killed off explicitly to motivate the protagonist, who's usually a male love interest. That's not what happened with Pyrrha at all.
No.
And so, again, if Ilya gets killed off, it's not going to be that.
It's because like 0% of that.
Yeah, because she's already an interesting character. She has interesting motives. And even if she does get killed off, I don't see Blake being spurned to further adventure based on Ilya getting killed off. So
there's a lot of other things motivating her right now, and Ilya's just kind of like a side point where it's like, hey, can you just stop being a douche for a little bit? Oh, you're being a super douche now? Well, fuck that then.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, this is the main thing. It's like, no.
Yeah, so there's like currently a lot of, again, I went deep diving into the comments because internet drama is almost as good as watching characters suffer. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that a lot of people were freaking out immediately. And it's like, actually, this looks like it's being executed really well. Why don't you guys just take a beat?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah.
I'm really interested to see where that whole thing's going to go now. I was like, a lot of people didn't care about the White Fang stuff because they pretty much wanted to get to where it is now. So now it's here. Now it's great.
Well, that's because it took freaking forever to get here.
It did.
We're on episode 8, and we started the episode with let's go recruiting in the nocturnal sector, which on the one hand, I love the fact that there's like a nocturnal section of Menagerie. Like that just makes me happy.
Yes.
It's like, it's the night shift.
We could have seen the Alphaunus. I want to see Alphaunus. Sorry.
Did they just turn their heads completely upside down?
Some of them. Some got big ol' eyes. Some got wings that are super quiet. Fucking else.
Yeah, okay, we're just gonna move on.
Actually, yeah, this is just the end of the episode pretty much, because then we go to where it's like, we should call my mom. So they called people, and there's a whole fight going on where people are dying, but it's really like not impactful in any way.
I'm glad that Spider-Girl knows to tie hands behind their backs, but do these terrorists not recognize like how useful bombs are? Like, I really, really was expecting during the entire scene with Blake, like, at some point, while Ilya's like, your family's a necessary sacrifice, there to just be an explosion in the background. Like, that's what I was waiting for. Yeah. And then instead we have this, crack team of red shirts come rushing in, trying to kill everyone and just dying. And it's like, what? Like, this...
I feel like
how hard is it to build a bomb?
Well, because they're still, like, thinking somewhat politically in this situation, because if they just explode the house of, like, their leaders, that's just a terror act of terrorism. That's done. But if they're just, like, assassinated, it's a little bit easier to try to convince people afterward. It's like, hey, like, these people got offed. Be careful. Rather than just, like...
And there's something to be said for an assassination attempt succeeding. And right now it's questionable if that's going to happen. A failed assassination attempt is very bad politically.
Very bad.
Frankly, worse than we blew up the house and everyone's dead. But let's explain why that's okay.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things with this where it's like, okay, so we have... I'm just going to go through this entire scene real quick. So we have people dying from getting shot in the shoulder with no blood or anything. And so I was just like, are they using tranquilizer darts? Like, what's going on here? They're just falling over.
No one bleeds.
No one bleeds. And that's continuing to annoy. It's like, I understand it's like you're trying to be like whatever, but you had a character get stabbed through the gut and get tossed down a staircase. I think you can show a little blood.
Uh-huh.
And so then we have Kelly doing stuff, whatever. She's just there. I don't know, like, she should not fight, I guess. And then we have Gira just taking down everybody, which is fucking amazing. And then we have Corsic and Finnick show up, which I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form. And the thing I'm curious of here is that, does Gira have an unlocked aura? How strong is it? Does he have a weapon somewhere? Because Corsic and Finnick have weapons that are long range.
I mean, and, honestly, my biggest question here was whether or not Gira was a puma.
Okay.
You know, it's like a
I
big
thought
cat.
we got through this in volume 4.
Nope.
But no, never.
Nope.
I've seen stuff on the Reddit lately referencing that, but so either Corsic and Finnick are going to get murdered or Gira and Callie are going to get murdered. So it's looking like Gira and Callie are going to get murdered, which is not great.
And again, if we just set a goddamn bomb off.
Oh, yeah, then, yeah, that wouldn't matter at all. Which, hey, Dust is really good at bombs. You can just throw a bunch of gems in there and set them off. You're good. But,
pretty much.
Yeah, so it's really not looking good for Gira and Kelly. So
I don't expect both of them to die. I can see one of them getting killed off. Possibly Gira, because I think his voice actor is more expensive. But yeah, like I don't see, if both of them die, I think that's a little too easy.
I mean, if Gira dies and Blake and Sun don't get back in time, or they get reinforcements there, then Kelly's going down because she doesn't seem that she can fight at all.
I mean, I could see Blake and Sun showing up like just in time to see her father mortally wounded.
Yeah.
And
definitely
then and then you'll have Blake will know that Ilya set all of this up, and then suddenly we go from Blake kind of wanting to redeem her friend to wanting vengeance on her friend, and again stealing from someone else on the internet. There was a Reddit user, Gatling Tech, there had this great comment that they're hoping we get a situation where Blake and Ilya come across each other, and Blake says, "You want me to look at you the same way I look at Adam? Well, you've gotten your wish." And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just there is a lot of potential to, frankly, fridge one of Blake's parents and then set her off that way.
I just don't see there being no deaths between the four of them, between Gira, Callie, and Corsic and Finnick. I feel like one of them is going to die. But since we're at the end of the episode, let's go on to predictions. And you mentioned something a couple seconds ago that made me think, what if, you know, Blake is seeing all this murder happen, she just goes like murder crazy. She just is like, I'm fine with killing now. And then, like, that's her whole thing of, like, getting reined back in by her friends or something like that. She just, like, meets somebody and like, we need to murder Adam. It's like, whoa, hey, I mean, yeah, but, like, calm down.
Has Blake killed anyone?
I feel like not.
Because that would be an interesting
in the Black trailer,
moment.
she was like, what about the people on the train? And I guess, like, if there are people that were considered non-innocents, then maybe she could have done it. But she was also, like, fairly young. I feel like maybe Adam would have tried to keep her away from that a little bit.
Maybe?
Just based on, because, like, she said that, like, Adam changed, where it was just like, you know, we're just like doing blah blah blah, and then it eventually just was like we're just murdering everybody now. Who
like
cares?
it's possible Blake has never killed anyone at this point, and she's gonna come rushing in, and again potentially maybe Corsic or Finnick are the one who gets killed, but if it was Blake who did the killing, that would be potentially quite traumatic for her. So now I'm suddenly very much rooting for that.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm curious if like what's going to go on with that. Certainly. As far as other predictions for episodes coming up, I'm hoping they're going to go. I mean, almost assuredly they're going to go back to Raven's camp at least.
They have to.
I'm hoping next episode is going to be Raven's camp and menagerie stuff. Like if it was just those two things and that's it, and just like resolving the two huge conflicts that have been set up and like probably setting up more stuff, because I mean this is just going to be a chain reaction of events from now on, pretty much, that are just gonna be like, here's a big fight, here's a big fight, here's a big fight, all these powerful people going together, blah blah blah.
Or and they're just going to torture us and we're going to go and talk with Ranger and everyone and just like
that's
I mentioned the maidens? And it's like, oh jeez. Freaking
Osmond's old. He's losing it.
Senile old man in the body of a teenager.
Yeah, I guess he's a teenager. But yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for next episode. As far as like what's going to happen in it, I don't really know. Because we could have a huge maiden fight. We could have people dying all over the place. In both places, actually. I just don't know.
I'm kind of expecting that we're going to start a menagerie, cut over to Raven's camp, and then I'm kind of hoping for what we discussed last time of Raven's camp starts getting thrashed and we open up a portal to Ranger. Like,
yeah, that would get real crazy real fast.
Oh yeah. And then
there's a
meanwhile
lot that could happen.
We haven't heard from Leo in a while, so we've still got him as kind of a wild card, and then again the thing we still haven't addressed is Raven was ransoming Weiss. Is Atlas aware? Is Winter going to be? Oh,
that's not gonna even be a thing anymore. If they forgot about Blake being wrapped up in spiderwebs, I don't think they're gonna go.
We've got the fall maiden, we've got the spring maiden. Can we get Winter to literally come charging into the middle?
Possibly.
And then Summer can show up and I can go, motherfucker!
Oh, yes. So, and then for anything going on from here, it's just going to be, there's a lot of stuff going on. And like, I'm not really sure how a lot of people are going to react to world events that are going to be taking place soon, especially since people aren't going to know for a long time. So,
and in theory, we're attacking Haven in like a week.
Or a month.
No. I think we're down to about a week at this point.
Yeah, probably. It's definitely a lot closer.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully Blake should be finally heading back over there. Maybe Sun will die. That's a possibility too. Huh.
We discussed that a while ago.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, what do you got? Anything?
Oh man, Sun like protects Gira, and then he can't like hate him anymore.
That would be great, actually.
That would be really fun.
Or at least he has to like stay there and recover or something, and then Blake has to go on her own.
Blake goes on her own, and Sun is left with Gira, both of them being taken care of by Kaylee.
And then Blake goes back. Yang and Blake get together. They come back to get Sun, and Sun's just like, "Hey, Blake, what's up?" Oh, damn it. That's the best timeline right there. At least
and Gira just looks at him and goes, "I still don't like you."
Yeah, the one thing that I will like anti-ship is Black Sun. Just for no reason other than Blake or Sun is not very interesting as a character.
I thought that was called Eclipse.
It's both. There's like 5 names for each.
That's true.
Thing except Bumblebee. Everybody calls Bumblebee because that's
I don't know what else you would call that.
Motorcycle. Anyway, so any predictions?
Not really. There's kind of in the same spirit of the fellow on Reddit or girl, I don't know, I didn't check. There's a line I've kind of wished that we could hear Yang deliver again, and that's from volume 1 of "Great, the gang's all here. Now we can die together."
Oh God! If we could get another version of that,
I
Jesus.
have always wanted to hear another version of that where it's just like pissed off Yang. So I would love to see the Team RWBY reunion, and it's like, great, the gang's all here. Now we can die together. Just like...
It would be a lot more dire circumstances, even though it was pretty dire the first time, admittedly.
So that's kind of what I'm rooting for, just because I do see a lot of potential for that to come in. And I've been hoping for that for like 2 seasons, just because I think it would be fun.
That would be that's been like one of my favorite lines of the entire show, like still. So I guess that's
really it.
Yeah, that'll be it for this podcast. Is this a podcast? Like, comment, subscribe if it's a podcast. Oh, God.
Like, comment, subscribe if it's not.
That'll be it for this episode. So I hope you enjoyed. As always, go and leave comments down below about whatever theories, predictions, or anything we got wrong or right. Just things you may have thought of, even just based on what we talked about. And we will be in there down below, commenting along right with you if you do it.
Hey!
And next episode should be good. So hope you're as hyped as I am.
Yes.
Thank you for joining the Rebkos.
Absolutely.
And I will see you all next week after the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.